What's up, guys? Just want to give some quick predictions for tonight's UFC Long Island card. I wanted to do this in my regular format, so much more detailed and things like that. Unfortunately, I had to work last night, so finished at 7 a.m. and now I have to work at 1 p.m. I only had a few hours of sleep, so I'm just going to go ahead and break this card down as fast as I possibly can because I'm trying to get to work on time. So let's go ahead and start off with I guess you could say the first interesting fight on the card, which is Jimmie Rivera versus Thomas Almeida. Now, both of these guys only have one loss on their records. I think Jimmie Rivera is 22-1, and Thomas Almeida is 20-1. So it's going to be a very, very good fight, very interesting fight. I think Thomas Almeida's only loss was against Cody Garbrandt, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. You guys, because the last fight Jimmie Rivera had was against Urijah Faber, where he beat down Urijah. I mean, it wasn't like a brutal beatdown, but he pieced him up and he absolutely dominated the fight. So yeah, that's going to be a very good fight. I do have Jimmie Rivera winning this one just because I was so impressed from him in that fight, and obviously Thomas Almeida has a lot of talent as well, but I just think that Jimmie Rivera is more well-rounded. He's definitely proven that he can compete with the very best. And Thomas Almeida, I think he is going to be at that level very soon, but Jimmie Rivera has so much experience against so many top-level guys because he's one of those guys that doesn't have a huge name, but is actually really, really fucking good. So I do see him winning the fight. I don't think it's going to be like a beatdown. I think it's probably going to be a unanimous decision. Maybe even a late stoppage in the third round, but I don't see it ending that way because I think Thomas Almeida, regardless of what happened against Cody Garbrandt, Garbrandt hits so hard, so you never know. You never know what's going to happen against that guy, but I do think that it will be a unanimous decision. Next up, we have Pat Cummins versus versus Gian Villante. Now, this is another fight that could be interesting because of the fact that we're talking about two really big guys. Gian Villante is a pretty decent fighter. Pat Cummins is also a pretty decent fighter. The thing is, I don't know which guy is a little bit less, I guess you could say, untechnical, because the thing about Patrick Cummins, he's got good wrestling, he's got decent boxing, but ever since he burst on the scene with that Daniel Cormier fight, he has had ups and downs. Gian Villante is a very similar fighter. He has like 9 losses, I think. I can't remember if it's 6 or 9. I think it's 9. So, he's a good fighter, but he's not something amazing. So, I think it's going to be a close one, but I do see Patrick Cummins edging it out. And this is probably, in my opinion, the closest one on the card because of the fact that they're both not great, but they're not bad either. I think they're evenly matched. So, I think it's going to be a close fight. I don't think it's going to be anything too spectacular, but with Gian Villante, you never know. He tends to have like fun fights, whether he gets his ass beat or not. But I think Patrick Cummins is kind of like an anti-fun fighter. I mean, he's had some fun fights, but he isn't a guy that tends to have really fun fights. So I say Patrick Cummins, unanimous decision. Next up, I can't remember. I'm doing this right off the top of my head. I don't think there's another fight after that other than the co-main event and the main event. The co-main event is Bermudez versus Darren Elkins. Now, this is going to be a fun fight. All right, while it lasts, is going to be a fun fight because, as we all know, Darren the Damage Elkins is one of the baddest motherfuckers out there when it comes to taking a beating, continuing the fight, and actually possibly getting a comeback. We all know his legendary comeback where he took one of the most brutal beatings in UFC history, and was still able to come back and get a huge comeback. So yeah, Darren Elkins, you never count him out, regardless of how much he's getting beaten down. But at the end of the day, I think that Dennis Bermudez, who is a guy that in his own right has made a lot of mistakes in his career, and it's cost him some fights, I do think he's going to get the win. I think it's going to be, once again, a decision. I don't think there's going to be a lot of finish in this fight, in this card, to be honest with you, because of the fact that there is just so much parity. So I do think it's going to be another unanimous decision, Darren Elkins. Bermudez. Then now we have the main event, which I think is probably going to be a pretty fun fight, to be honest with you. It's another fight that's very, very evenly matched, but very differently than all the other fights. Because I think this one actually has the potential of being a stoppage. Why? Because Chris Weidman, he's been having a very tough time lately. He's like, what? He's lost his last 3. He lost against Rockhold. Then he lost to Romero, and then Musashi. I think that's it. Yeah, he's lost his last 3. So it's a very odd place for him to be in his career because it's the first time he's had a loss. Now he went on losing 3. So we'll see what happens right now. Is he going to step his game up, or is he just in a bad spot right now, and is he just going to be stuck there? Because realistically, he's been taking some bad losses. He's been getting hurt badly in each of his losses, and it's going to be tough for him. Because I think Gastelum coming up from welterweight, he's a lot better than people might think. A lot of people don't really know his name, but he's beaten guys like Tim Kennedy. He destroyed Johnny Hendricks. You know, he's beaten a lot of really, really good guys. He even beat Tyron Woodley. And the thing about here is that I think his boxing is going to be way better than Weidman's. Weidman's overall striking might be, I guess you could say, on par, because he doesn't, regardless of what you think about his kicks, they aren't bad. And he's good at mixing in striking and wrestling. The thing is, I think that Gastelum is going to be just much better with his hands. We saw against Tim Kennedy, he's got some very crisp boxing. He's always been really, really good with his hands. And the fact that his wrestling, I don't think it's on par, and even anywhere near on par with Chris Weidman, but I do believe that he has good enough wrestling to at least hold his own. But at the end of the day, I think that Weidman will be able to get the fight to the ground, and I do think he would be able to do some damage in the first round. Kelvin, you know, he's always been a guy who's had some weight problems and has some discipline problems. So will the weight cut, which he didn't have, I don't think he had too much of a problem at middleweight, but will he be having some problems tiring out? We'll see. I think that's going to be the deciding factor, so I don't think Weidman's going to gas out. I definitely don't think that. And I do think that it's going to be a finish. What I think is probably going to happen is I'm going to go with a third-round finish, and I am going to go... This is a tough one, dude. Like the other day, I was thinking Weidman, then I was thinking Kelvin Gastelum. Honestly, for this fight, I am going to go with Chris Weidman. I do think this is going to be a better performance for him. I think he's training with Stipe Miocic, because I've been seeing a lot of pictures of him, of Miocic with Wonder Boy and with Weidman. So I think it's going to be a good thing for him. You're training with a champ and training with the right mentality. I think that's going to be a big thing for him. And Gastelum, like I said, you know, his last fight was against Tim Kennedy, which I think was his first or second fight at middleweight, at least in the against the big dogs. So Chris Weidman is a step up. Tim Kennedy, as good as he used to be, he wasn't that great in that fight. He was just really, really tired and everything like that. So I think Chris Weidman is going to be a step up for him, and we'll see exactly what he can do at middleweight against a real top-level guy. I do think, like I said, Weidman is going to get the finish in the third round. I think he might actually submit him, because Weidman, he's really good at submission. So we'll see what happens there. But let me know in the comment section down below, guys, what you think's going to happen. Thank you so much for watching. And next week is International Fight Week. There's going to be like 3 cards, I think, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. So there's going to be content like that. It's going to be full-fledged videos, long ones. So hopefully you guys will tune into that. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. And I don't know how good the audio is, because there's a lot of cars going by and stuff like that, and that was that stupid Harley. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you then.